Also, even just pick one. Yeah, and even using the ends of the books on the right-hand row, then you can get like a series of books that are in there that we not actually block. I actually block my books. But if it's on the end, it doesn't actually block the books. Have that available.
Goes closer, if your number goes closer to the offer, grab that over here.
Can you go tell her I need her for all the questions? We can start today, and then we can start.
All right,
And this goes in the middle, centered. Yep. After they do the vows, we just let them focus on the things.
Welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated and turn to page 2 in your liturgy books. Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers, for the lineage of teachers before them. I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred, being close to some and distant from others. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand for the Heart Sutra, found on page 4. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practicing deep Prajna Paramita clearly saw that all 5 skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness. Emptiness, no other than form. Form is exactly emptiness. Emptiness, exactly form. Sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so go on to know old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation path, no wisdom and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by prajna paramita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond delusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by prajna paramita, attaining anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the prajna paramita mantra, set forth this mantra and proclaim gate gate para gate parsam gate bodhisvaha gate gate para gate parsam gate bodhisvaha gate gate para gate parsam gate bodhisvaha. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the 6 worlds and dedicate it in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to all those who suffer as a result of injustices, calamity, cruelty, and war. To Vaughn, Dennis, Karina, Shauna, Chrissy, Griffin, Chris, John Terrence Roshi, Kylie, John, Charles, Stephen, Reverend Eugen, Laverne, Roger, Soke, Karen, Evan, Sarah, and Darcy. May they have peace and healing. To Sue and Ariel at the time of their death, and to those we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones. prepare for Zazen. We will now recite the Sangha Covenant found on page 8. We, the Daishin Gokoji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated. I'll sit comfortably so you can make eye contact with the teacher. And in a moment, we'll recite the Gatha and opening the sutra, also found on page 8. Gatha on opening the sutra.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Continuing with the Lankavatara Sutra, in the chapter on Tathagatahood. Then said Mahamati, Blessed One, you speak of the sameness of all the Buddhas, but in other places, you've spoken of the Dharmata Buddha, the Nishayanda Buddha, and Nirmana Buddha, as though they were different from each other. How can they be the same and yet be different? The Blessed One replied, I speak of the different Buddhas as opposed to the views of the philosophers who base their teachings on the reality of an external world of form, and who cherish discriminations and attachments arising therefrom. Against the teachings of these philosophers, I disclose the Nirmana Buddha, the Buddha of transformations. He goes on. So let's try to understand a little bit so far. The query is coming from, look, dude, I've heard you say this, and then elsewhere you say that. Which one is it? What gives? What's the right answer? Is there only one Buddha, or I've heard you talk about these different kinds of Buddhas. Which one is it? And it's important to kind of understand, and this gets explicated further as the Buddha goes on, this idea of upaya, of skillful means. Skillful means is a depiction, or a term rather, that tries to help us understand the fact that a bodhisattva or a Buddha will arise in a way that skillfully, quote unquote, meets the needs of the people that they're with, of the environment that they're actually in, right? And so to a literal sort of fundamentalist kind of mind that wants things to be either always yes or always no, and which way is it, is very confusing, because the Buddha's saying, well, it depends. Well, it depends. You know, how the Buddha shows up depends on where the Buddha is showing up and who they're showing up to hang out with and what the scene is like. See? And this is a very important part of Zen training. We all have to understand and experience, we get to experience what it is to, for example, move in and out of certain roles at various times. You know, you come into the service, and you actually have a liturgy role even on your first day. It's to stand there and have the sutra book and look confused. Good job. That's you're crushing it, you know. And then it goes on from there. Each position temporary, right? Each position an expression of a moment's practice, right? Which way is the true way to practice? Be the new person confused about which way to read the sutra book from, or the person who's on the high seat giving a discourse. From a certain perspective, no different at all. Every place exactly perfect, right? So, Mahamati says, which is it? You know, I've heard you talk about these different kinds of Buddhas as though they're the same, as though they're different. What's the deal? And the Buddha says, look, in response to philosophers who have this as their basis, pure materialism, okay? They only talk about the external world as being actually real, and they talk about the discriminations within this supposedly real and permanent world, okay? Against those folks, or against those bad ideas, in the Buddhist way of thinking of it, in response to those folks, I give these teachings. See? And again, it's contextualizing. The teachings are for a certain batch of folks at a certain time for certain reasons. And then these distinctions end up being useful not just for the people who happen to have been there in the moment, but durably they provide sustenance in practice, right? So it's kind of like having a record of a physician's assessment of patients and what prescriptions were given. And if you don't understand medicine, it looks like this random collection of observations. But when you actually understand something about pathology and how to work with things, you can see patterns, right? And it's what is useful for the physician to bring out. Well, patient by patient. And there are trends that we can see. Okay? So, the Buddha goes on. Against the teachings of these materialist philosophers, I disclose the Nirmana Buddha, the Buddha of transformations. In the many transformations of the Tathagata stage, the Nirmana Buddha establishes such matters as charity, morality, patience, thoughtfulness, and equality, tranquilization, equanimity. By right knowledge, they teach the true understanding of the Maya-like nature of the elements that make up personality and its external world. They teach the true nature of the mind system as a whole and in the distinction of its forms, functions, and ways of performance. In a deeper sense, however, the Nirmana Buddha symbolizes the principles of differentiation and integration, by reason of which all component things are distributed, all complexities are simplified, all thoughts analyzed. At the same time, it symbolizes the harmonizing, unifying power of sympathy and compassion. It removes all obstacles, it harmonizes all differences, it brings into perfect oneness the discordant many. For the emancipation of all beings, the bodhisattvas and tathagatas assume bodies of transformation and employ many skillful devices. This is the work of Nirmana Buddha. Okay, that's a big list. It's a big list. But basically, what this is saying is this Nirmanakaya Buddha. Okay, there's a traditional teaching called the three bodies of the Buddha in Mahayana practice. And we deal with this in koan study, and you should have some cognitive understanding of it as well. This Nirmanakaya Buddha, okay, this is one of the qualities of this particular Buddha is that they show up in the human realm. This dirty, dusty, smelly, bloaty place, right? This human realm that we live in together, right? And this human Buddha showing up in the human realm needs to bring along charity and morality and patience, mindfulness, and so on, right? And with right knowledge, they teach the correct relationship of the emptiness of self and the emptiness of things, see. They explicate the mind system. This is all the stuff the sutras kind of all about, really. And this, inherent to this Nirmanakaya is this upaya, this way of showing up appropriately to a circumstance and to a situation. Now, this does not always look like it does at the moment, with people sitting in a formal place of training with all the bells and smells and the cool, robes and stuff. This transformation body of the Buddha is you, right? And sometimes it might manifest in a formal setting. I hope it does for you. It's really good. But if it only manifests in the formal setting, you kind of missed something pretty important, like the point. What we want to do is to be able to manifest in whatever situation we're actually in. Show up in that environment in an appropriate way. See? So many here know my day gig, I'm a professor at the university down the street here, right? And so when in my day job life, I show up as a music teacher. And so I don't try to show up as a Zen master music teacher. That might happen on occasion, but it's not a plan. Okay? I'm not trying to look this way over there. Simply show up and do what's true. But that's deeply informed by the formal practice that I have. So this is something like this transformation body of the Buddha, the ability to actually meet the different moments that we're in. What is the appropriate response to this inordinately long wait at the grocery store, say? What's the appropriate response to the latest political issue that requires educated citizenry to participate in the democratic process, for example, right? Know this, right? A fully awakened human Buddha will bring that awakening into every sphere of their life. Nothing is separate, nothing is left out, nothing is mundane, because everything is sacred, right? The smallest business to what you might think of as the grandest business. It's all met with this transformation body, the ability to show up in a way that removes obstacles and that harmonizes differences. There's a way of simply being in a space that changes the equation of that space just by presence. And some of the most powerful teachers and exemplars of the tradition are not the powerful orators, those who are gifted in speech and able to do public talks. They're not necessarily the heaviest of the crew. I mean, there are those masters who barely said anything in their teaching careers and had deeply profound experience, and they catalyzed many successors without relying, in their case, on these formal ways, in the same structure, let's say. So it can look all kinds of different ways. And ultimately, I think part of the maturational process for each one of us is to understand directly what Buddha nature is, and then to understand directly how we manifest it. It's filling your own seat with your own karmic habit energies and your own vows and your own karmic unfoldings. What is the Buddha of you? What is your Buddha expression? What is your Buddha mandala, you see? Then the deeper sense, differentiation, integration, okay? This ability to see the unique, individual, and the non-selfness of things at the same time. Right? Now, the sutra continues. For the enlightenment of the bodhisattvas and their sustaining along the many stages, the inconceivable is made realizable. The inconceivable is made realizable. The inconceivable, that which is beyond your intellect's ability to map, is made realizable. You can realize it. The Nishyanda Buddha, the outflowing Buddha, through transcendental intelligence, through Dharma, I, reveals the true meaning and significance of appearances. Remember, in the mindfold system, in the 5 dharmas, appearance arises, sensation arises, form arises, name comes. And with this, the cascade of fixing things in our perspective, right? The Nishyana Buddha, this Sambhogakaya Buddha, reveals the true meaning and significance of appearances, of discrimination, of attachment, and of the power of habit energy which is accumulated by them and conditions them. This is talking about our way of perceiving ourselves and perceiving the universe. Of the unbornness, the emptiness, the egolessness of all things. Because of transcendental intelligence, because of Dharma I, and the purification of the evil outflowings of life, all dualistic views of existence and non-existence are transcended, and by self-realization of noble wisdom, the true imagelessness of reality is made manifest. It's a lot of language in there. Don't hang yourself with the words, okay? It's simply saying that it's making realizable the truth of reality. You can experience it and realize it. The inconceivable glory of Buddhahood is made manifest, and I love this, in rays of noble wisdom. Rays of noble wisdom. Noble wisdom itself is the self-nature of the Tathagatas. This is the work of Nishyanda Buddha. In a deeper sense, the Nishyanda Buddha, also the Sambhogakaya, symbolizes the emergence of the principles of intellection and compassion, but as yet undifferentiated, in perfect balance, potential but unmanifest. Traditionally, it's said that the Sambhogakaya is the body of the Buddha that manifests in celestial realms to teach more advanced beings, the Mahasattvas that are well along the path but not complete with their training. And the Nirmanakaya Buddha is the one that shows up in the human realm for the likes of folks such as ourselves. But actually, these are all just different aspects of mind. The enjoyment bliss body is really no different from the Nirmanakaya dirt under the fingernails body. Actually, this is all describing you. It's describing me, right? These are actually not separate entities out there somewhere in some other dimension of existence. Rather, they are aspects of the awakened mind, aspects of yourself, aspects of myself. Looked at from the ingoing side of the bodhisattvas, Nishyana Buddha is seen in the glorified bodies of the Tathagatas. Looked at from the outgoing side of Buddhahood, Nishyana Buddha is seen in the radiant personalities of the Tathagata, ready and eager to manifest the inherent love and wisdom of the Dharmakaya. And there's your takeaway. The inherent love and wisdom of reality. The sutras are quite clear. The basic nature of reality is love, is compassion, is wisdom, is reliable, is actually eternal. It's the way we relate to this that we cause ourselves some trouble. It is not something that you can figure out, but it is something you can fall in love with. And this love is actually the basis of reality itself. Third, Dharmata Buddha is the Buddhahood in its self-nature of perfect oneness, in whom absolute tranquility prevails. This is the Dharmakaya. This is noble wisdom itself. You could think of it like Nirmanakaya is the upaya, skillful means, the ability to show up in a way that's of use. You could see the Sambhogakaya with the outflowings and the rays of wisdom as if you meet beings that are actually elevated enough to receive real teachings, the teachings will come. Maybe in line at the Walmart is not the place to be explicating the Lankavatara Sutra for everyone's benefit, right? Maybe the way that manifests is a little different. But if you encounter beings that have the causes and conditions where they're ripe enough to join the noble assembly, then actual teachings can come, and they do. So who knew? You're already an advanced bodhisattva because you're actually hearing the teachings. Kind of amazing, right? Most of our fellow Homo sapien creatures are nowhere near being ready to seriously hear or care about, frankly, these teachings. Trying to cram the Lankavatara Sutra down their throat will do no good whatsoever. Not for you, not for them, not for the sutra, definitely not for me, not for the Sangha. But showing up in a loving way that is wholesome and honest, do that. But now, if you meet noble friends who have the causes and conditions to actually hear the Dharma, now we're taking it up a notch. Now this is Buddhist business. Now it's the realm of actual practice and training. And it's very important that you do not begrudge people for whom the causes and conditions are not yet ripe for them to practice. It's not their choice. Love them anyway. Meet them in a way that is actually seeable by them, and let that be Dharma for them. That's fine. If someone seems to be breaking through or having some resonance, it's fine to let them know. Yeah, I engage in a bit of Zen training. You might find it interesting. But that's enough. If someone has a Dharma eye that's trying to open, you won't be able to keep them from practicing. It's like the cat and the little laser ball thing on the floor. The cat's going to go for it, If someone's Dharma eye is trying to open and they start to smell the incense of the temple, they're going to want to come and see what it is. Or some way that makes sense for them. That's fine too. It's not just one way to do these things. But you have to find a way. And that way has to be like the real deal. Life is far too short to play in a sandbox, thinking that you're really digging into something. As noble wisdom, the sutra continues, Dharmata Buddha, Dharmakaya, body of the Buddha, transcends all differentiated knowledge. It is the goal of intuitive self-realization. It is the goal of Dharma-I practice. It is and is the self-nature of Tathagatas. It is the self-nature of thusness itself. As noble wisdom, the Dharmakaya body of the Buddha is inscrutable, ineffable, and unconditioned, unborn, unconditioned. Dharmata Buddha is the ultimate principle of reality from which all things derive their being and their truthfulness, but which in itself transcends any condition. This is the hidden ground of love. This is the ground of being, Dharmakaya. The Dharmakaya itself is not a thing within reality, it's the basis of reality itself. The Nirmanakaya is very specific, it's a white card. It makes that sound, right? That's very specific. Buddha nature itself won't be contained. It can be expressed, but it won't be contained. Buddha nature itself transcends all conditions. Dharmata Buddha, the Dharmakaya, is the central sun which holds all and illumines all. The sun, as I often point out, it at once holds all the planets in its orbit, and it also at once radiates its light. It's immensely compelling, draws in, and it's immensely radiating. Yin, yang, not obstructing. Its inconceivable essence is made manifest in the outflowing glory of Nishayana Buddha, of the Dharmakaya, and in the transformations of the Nirmanakaya, of the Nirmana Buddha. It's basically saying that this Dharmakaya, true reality, the egolessness, manifests as upaya and skillful means, manifests as teachings and practice. All of this is for the benefit of all of us, those who have the causes and conditions to actually practice in a formal setting. Never take it for granted. Even though it seems like this is a simple thing, it's an address, your phone will guide you here, you can walk in the doors. Having the causes and conditions to even be interested in it, let alone to actually take the step of showing up. This is incredibly auspicious. The ultimate principle of reality. All things derive their being and their truth from this ground of being. Centuries later, Dogen would say it this way. Dogen writes, the 12th patriarch Ashavagosa, in expounding the Buddha nature C for the sake of the 13th patriarch, his successor, said, the forming of mountains, rivers, and the great earth itself is totally dependent on Buddha nature. Samadhi and the 6 supernatural powers are being revealed through Buddha nature. As the Buddha nature C is like this, seeing mountains and rivers is seeing Buddha nature. Grass and trees, the nation and the state are all mind. Because they are mind, they are sentient being. Because they are sentient being, they are being Buddha nature. The sun, the moon, the stars, and the planets themselves are nothing but mind. Because they are mind, they are sentient being. Because they are sentient being, they are being Buddha nature. How about that? The great earth itself is a sentient being, says the sutra. The moon, the stars, the cosmos itself. This Dharma is amongst the most profound insights the human mind has had or is capable of having, in my opinion. I encourage each of you to take yourself joyfully and take yourself seriously. Whatever it feels like is not the main case. Whether you feel elevated by a Dharma talk or overwhelmed by a Dharma talk or just profoundly and aggressively neutral about a Dharma talk, that doesn't matter. What matters is your devotion and your fidelity to yourself and to your practice. Allow the Dharma to simply wash through you. Allow yourself to take in. Don't attach. Don't cling. Allow the Dharma to simply wash through you. And then you in turn take up this love, this ground of being, bringing your hands palm to palm together. Bless everyone and everything you see. May it be so.
Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Illusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody you all for being here today. That concludes the streaming portion of